Hi. As freshmen still deciding what path to follow in life, there are many different fields of study you can venture into. Each individual field of study has its own set of regulations or structure that distinguishes it from the others. It is its own discourse community. I have not yet decided on which path to follow, but in order to build some further insight, I just wrote a report on one specific discourse community: secondary education. Secondary education is something I have always been interested in. Teaching has always caught my eye. I was playing the role of a high school student not that long ago, and I am still familiarized with the discourse community, at least from that aspect. Since this field is of education, I believe the academic discourse community is just as much as it is about students being taught, as much as about the teachers teaching it. In order to obtain even more insight into this community, I have conducted an interview of a former teacher of mine at Cypress Creek High School. She is an AP Environmental Science teacher. In this report, I will discuss everything I have learned from the discourse community through my interview, my research, and my own personal experiences. Like I mentioned before, each individual discourse community has specific characteristics that distinguish it from one another. One of these characteristics is the different types of writing genre it uses. These genres are important in the communication between the community members and range between PowerPoint presentations, journal articles, newsletters, to-do lists, textbooks, emails, etc., etc. Some of the genres used in this particular discourse community are the following. Emails are virtually a universal genre across all fields of study. They provide quick and easy means of communication between two people. They benefit both parties because of their convenience and easy access. In this field in particular, they are incredibly practical. When it comes to students attempting to contact a teacher outside of classroom hours, email is the best method of communication. Obviously, they cannot call their teachers outside of office hours when they're not at school. Having their personal phone numbers could be considered unethical and inappropriate. Journal articles are also fairly common among all areas of study. They are means for more experienced experts in the given field to publish their work for others to read. The same way we have done so in this class, journal articles can be weaved into a curriculum and used as tools for teaching the students. They solidify the authority certain experts have under a given field over the other members in that field, while at the same time they benefit the reader with newfound knowledge or insights. Grading rubrics are used by virtually every high school teacher. They are easy means of providing the requirements of an assignment. These rubrics serve both the teacher, but most importantly the student. The teacher can clearly express the expectations for a particular assignment, giving the students the formula for obtaining a good grade on wherever that assignment may be. Letters are also used to communicate between teachers and parents, parents and teachers, teachers and principals, etc., etc. They are common but impractical when it comes to mutual communication between two parties. They designate more power to the writer rather than the reader. The writer can say anything in a letter, but the reader has no immediate chance to respond. Tests and multiple choice tests are used to evaluate the knowledge of the students. Ultimately, they serve the teachers. It allows them to evaluate how well students are retaining information and subsequently how well they are presenting the information. They also serve the school. Standardized tests such as the FCAT in Florida help determine what grade a school receives for that particular year. Students are often indirectly pressured to do well. If a student does well, the school gets a good grade. PowerPoints are common in this field. Teachers often use them to present information to the students and at times assign them to the students in order for them to present information to the rest of the classroom. Word documents, like PowerPoints, are a staple in this field. In education period, teachers assign papers to students which are written in Microsoft Word. Textbooks are one of the most popular genres in this field. Every student is assigned a textbook in each class, and the lesson plan often correlates to how a textbook teaches. The majority of the time, the lesson plan is actually shaped around the textbook. Oddly enough, it is not uncommon for both students and teachers to complain about the textbooks. A lot of time they are outdated or do not present the information clearly enough for the students to comprehend it. There is a lot of animosity towards them. In my interview, I discovered some teachers do everything in their power to leave out the textbooks as much as possible. In reality, textbooks only benefit the companies who publish them. I chose to do my report in video format because I believe it would be an effective way of communication between teachers and students. In almost all high school classrooms, videos are shown at one point or another, but they are never really used to communicate between the students and the teachers, rather just to illustrate or teach students something. A video is by definition more visual and interactive than a piece of paper, and I believe it would make the process of, let's say, presenting guidelines of a project much more stimulating. Students would be more engaged. Teenagers are the target demographic in secondary education, and teenagers in this era are much more technological oriented than before. It used to be letters, then phone calls, now text messages, and soon enough it would be all about video chatting. Sites such as Skype and Uvu are quite popular among all teenagers. I believe teachers should perhaps create a special classroom chat group that students can communicate in with the teacher as well as with other classmates. More often than not, the time teachers are allowed for in class during the school day is not enough to thoroughly cover the lessons. Setting up chat groups such as these would definitely improve upon the problem. Teachers could determine a time at which everyone in the class that needs help can log in and join the class discussion outside of the class. Teachers could also allocate more time to actually teaching or reviewing the material by sending out a video message or a live video chat that students could view over whenever they need it, in which he or she discusses the guidelines or rubric of a project or a homework assignment or anything similar. I understand that to some, video chatting between a teacher and their student may seem inappropriate, but in this time and era, I do not really think it's actually inappropriate. Students and teachers are communicating in different ways than before. Their relationship is much less informal than it used to be. This only seems like the next logical step. There are no ethical rules being broken. This would be much more of a virtual classroom, extending whenever needed the class time.